Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to another edition of News in Motion. Today is Tuesday, September 26, 2023. We are officially in fall season, y'all. We are officially in fall season. Now, I know fall started on Saturday, but I'm just now acknowledging it this week, okay? But the best season is here. I said what I said, stamp, you can quote me on that, but I said what I said. The best season of the is here. The perfect season for weather. You got your hoodie season. For all the people who like their pumpkin spice and all that, that's the season for you. But we also have our people that love the sweet potatoes. You know who you are. You know who you are. Uh, but if you are watching through any streaming platform of ours, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, we just want to say thank you for all your support. For our audio and podcast listeners, y'all know what we say over here. Thank you for turning those dials to Hot 97 News in Motion for your relevant commentary and call to action news. We will be joined shortly by the one and the only, the virtuous Miss Gail. But first, let's give some shout outs to some of our viewers who are tuning in here live at 7:25 a.m. Or if you are watching the replay, whether it be in the afternoon, the evening, or near the nighttime, we just want to say thank you for all your support. So I see Miss Adrian tuning in through YouTube. Good morning to you, Miss Lori Wallace, tuning in through Facebook. Good morning, Miss Shirley Nicholson, also tuning in through Facebook. Good morning to Miss Deborah Sneed and Miss Deborah Johnson. They both came here at the same time. Good morning, Miss Kim Emerson, who is tuning in through YouTube. She said, good morning, nephew. Good morning, Miss Marion Jackson. And good morning to you, Mr. Robert Holman. So, without further delay, y'all know what we do here. Let's get ready for some news in motion.
News in motion.
What's up, everyone? I just love me some Isaiah. I just want to put that out there. I just love me some Isaiah. I'll pick up with the names. I see Donita coming in here. I see my brother Louis Pryor III coming up in here. What's up, Latrice Jones? I know y'all probably wonder why I always sing her name. Y'all, Latrice and I have been friends for a long time now. I see you, Felicia Williams, coming up in here. And y'all, Latrice Jones and I, when we're together, we get in trouble. Okay, we just get in trouble. So when I see her, it's kind of like that little like, we're about to get in trouble thing. So when I see her name, I just automatically think of it. And Latrice, I don't know why, but I am thinking right this moment, the last place we were off of Sawmill Parkway when we almost caught the man on his scam. But anyway, so that's why I do that, y'all. But I love all of you. I think we covered everyone else that's in here. Davia, good morning to you. Good morning. And good morning, Hester Jackson. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, y'all, I got it back up to Latrice Jones yesterday, who asked about the new intro, and she was like, let's do a dance and turn in some videos. So again, I tell y'all, Latrice Jones, we are just two peas in a pod. So I started thinking, I see Lori Wallace on here. Lori, we need some some choreography to the intro, and then we're going to send that all out to everybody, and then you all are going to do your dance, put your flavor onto it. And then you're going to send those in to News in Motion with Gail at gmail.com. And y'all make sure your camera is the long way, wide, going wide, not tall, but wide. Y'all know horizontal, vertical is horizontal. You want to send it wide. And so you're going to send those in. Well, I decided that we're going to put together a News in Motion gift basket. I see you, Judy Neal. And in that gift basket, we're going to have the water bottle. We're going to have the t-shirt, the original t-shirt. We're going to have the new t-shirt. It's on the website. I might wear it one day this week. We're going to have the new t-shirt in there. We're going to do like extra large so it could meet a lot of people with body size, all that. We're going to have the mug in there. We're going to have I don't know, it's probably about 10 items we're putting in there. And then, of course, I always got to get some money away, right? Then we're going to put $100 gift card in there. And whoever gets the most views on your platform will get the basket. We're going to let that go all the way through the end of October, but y'all need to start putting we need to get the choreographer to put this together. So Lori, hopefully you're in to do that, and I'm putting you on the spot here. She said, "All right, now let's go dancing." So Lori's in, and then we'll do a video on here so that you all will take Lori's video of the choreography. We're going to put it on here, and then you all do your thing, add your flavor to it, post it, and we're going to take off. Kim Edmondson said, "Y'all doing the most again." We have to. That we wouldn't be. We wouldn't be. And so Davia says, "Love it. Too fine. Too. It is." David, you know, I thought about you the other day. I was like, I want us to have a snow blizzard. I know we just turned fall at 2:30 a.m. on Saturday, but I want us to get into a snow blizzard so we can do the snowman angel thing again. That was fun as well. Yeah, this is why I stay young, because I'm always looking for things like this. So y'all, please, 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 please participate. Please, 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 please. Also, yesterday when I was telling y'all about people changing parties, y'all remember Latrice Jones? At least Latrice Jones asked who was now changing parties, and this is a mayor. I did mention that, but I could not think of his name. Well, like as soon as we hit the outro, the name came up, so I threw it into the chat in case you missed it. Is Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson. He announced Friday that he is switching parties, and he will serve as a Republican affiliate mayor of the blue leaning city. Now, he's been mayor for 9 years, Black man. He is switching parties to the Republicans, which got me to thinking that we need to talk about that today, which we will. Good morning, Dr. Antoinette. Also, y'all, Senator Robert Menendez, the New Jersey Democrat, y'all know I gave y'all the 39-page indictment yesterday, showed y'all the pictures of the gold bars, stuff I didn't realize until I looked closely at those pictures. He stuffed those gold bars in his Senate, the U.S. Senate jacket and sweatshirt. Who does that? So that's what's happening. People again are calling for him to step down. He now has a new name. It's people are calling him this. They're calling him Gold Bar Bob. That's what they're calling him. Gold Bar Bob. That is what they're calling him. So, y'all, let me go also to this news. Trump wanted to buy a handgun. He did. But he's not allowed. He's not allowed because he is under felony indictment. So he tried to buy a gun in South Carolina where he just wanted this gold embellished. He wanted to call it the Trump edition, or maybe it's called the Trump edition Glock. And he goes, "I want to buy one." And he's in the store, and they were like, "You can't." Can you imagine? I know he probably just fell apart when he heard he couldn't do that. Fred Jones says he may be trying to stay out of Greg Abbott's crosshairs. Listen, Fred, you may be on to something there. You may be on to something there. All right, y'all, let me give y'all information from the White House real quick. Statement by the National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan on a report of the attack of the Cuban embassy. He says that the United States strongly condemns Sunday's reported attack on the Cuban embassy in Washington, D.C. Attacks against diplomatic facilities are unacceptable. We are in contact with the Cuban embassy officials and law enforcement authorities to ensure an appropriate and timely investigation, as well as to offer our support for future protective efforts. So that's happening as well. Dr. Antoinette said Goldie, and then Kim Edmondson said Gold Bar Bob. Listen, I have to say that slowly because it's like, what? You know, people will come up with the name. So, of course, on X, formerly Twitter, on TikTok, they've been putting together these memes with his face and carrying out gold bars. That's just too much. I just want to touch one. I just really, I want to touch one. And y'all, he even had a safe in his home. So why didn't he have him in a safe? Anyway, whatever. And y'all, here's a statement from President Joe Biden on North Carolina enacting the Medicaid expansion. He says every American deserves high quality, affordable health care, period. And his statement does say period, all caps. period. So I applaud Governor Cooper and the bipartisan elected officials who have made North Carolina the 40th state to expand Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act. Thanks to their leadership, 600,000 North Carolinians will finally have access to affordable quality coverage under Medicaid, for many for the first time in their lives. Listen, y'all, I've been navigating so much with my parents. It's amazing of what's happening and what they determine and how you can move people from one to another. My parents are under Medicare. So much is needed medically for my mother. So we're looking at, can we switch her alone to Medicaid, take her name off the home? What's all involved in that? Yeah, it's a lot. Hopefully you had a chance to listen to every episode this month on Politics and Prose. It's been one after another. It started off with three amazing women. Latrice Jones was one, Elizabeth Towns was the other, and Anita Dawson was the other. We were talking about, when we become the parents, that download is amazing. And people are constantly sharing that. And people are saying they needed to hear that because they're going through it right now themselves. Then we went to a certified senior living representative. Her name is Pat Williams. And she discussed, what it looks like for senior living and what you need to put in order. Y'all, she was very detailed with everything when it comes to our parents or loved ones. Because remember, a nursing facility is not just for elderly people. It could be for young people as well. And then this past weekend, we had Social Security, y'all. We had two public affairs people from Social Security. And I was sitting there like, okay, let me take some notes, because they delivered information that I don't think we take the time to hear. And I honestly believe that needs to become a curriculum in high school, because we never know when we're going to have to step into that space. We never know, to have a better understanding of all of it. All right, y'all, the GOP debate is tonight from 9 to 11. Not tonight, tomorrow night, excuse me, Eastern time zone. There are 7 who made the debate stage. The former guy said he's not coming. He's going to be in Michigan on the picket line, whatever. This is going to be hosted by Fox Business Network and Univision. So that is happening. The one person who did not make it, who I think is a really strong candidate, is former Governor Asa Hutchinson of Arkansas. Y'all, he qualified for the first debate, but he failed for the second one. He needed 50,000 donors, up from 40,000 last month, and he needed 3%, up from 1% in the last 2 national polls. So I'm not for sure how they're putting this together, because what they needed for this debate stage was totally different from the last debate stage. But he's really good. He's really good. All right, y'all. I want y'all to get ready to have a conversation with me. I know I told you I was going to do the Federal Reserve. I'm not doing that today. And I'm not doing it because I'm seeing something that's shifting, and I want us to talk about it here. And I want to talk about it here first. How about that? Let's see. Shirley Nicholson says, wanted to take the RSV vaccination, but Medicare nor any of the other 2 insurance will pay for it. Costs $400. Well, I'd be daggone. Wow. Yeah, we got to fight for that, y'all. This is advocacy. These are things we need to ask for when we're going to these town hall meetings as well. I know y'all get sick of me talking about it, but I'm talking about it. All right, y'all. Washington Post did some reporting, and they called it the ripple effect of Black Republicans. And so I've just been digging into some of this, and they put this article out here yesterday. But my son and I have been having conversations, as well as myself and other people. I had I somewhat had a conversation where someone wanted me to do some contracting with an organization, but they wanted me to stop being in the middle. Well, I'm not going to compromise who I am for some money. I know that sounds real crazy, right? But I'm not doing it. And so I said, well, I cannot commit to that. Because for me, and I'm gonna just be honest with you all, and we've talked about this down ballot piece. I've been very, very forthright in sharing that with you all. There was a time I did straight down ballot. Now, the last 2 elections, I did it because I felt that I needed to. But it was my own conviction, my own where I stood, how I researched everything and looked at everything. I said, this is the best I can do. where I believe research is important. But at the same time, and I have no problem sharing this with y'all, I have areas where I'm conservative. I have areas where I'm moderate. I have areas where I'm progressive. I even have areas where I'm liberal. So I'm all across the board. Okay. Because it depends upon what's at the forefront and why. And if y'all have not downloaded the free information, I don't even know if it's on the website anymore because Molly's been hooking up the website. Y'all should go check it out, gaildudley.com. She's been blowing that up. It's just amazing. But and if not, I'll send it to you. But it talks about how you can look at that and make your own determinations. I think there's like 4 or 5 pages to it. Go through it seriously so you can find out where you stand and why you stand where you stand. So let's get into this. So Rodney Hall made history last month. He's a Black man when he won the Republican primary for Mississippi capital seat, setting him up to become the first Black Republican elected to the legislature since the Reconstruction era. So you're probably saying, why did he run and why is he running Republican? Well, he says because he has so many conservative values that's why he decided to run on that platform. And then he's getting pushback from Black people. So hold on. I'm still on Washington Post. It says Rodney Hall is among several Black Republicans who have gained national attention in recent months. Their visibility coming at a time when the party appears to be shifting more to the right, embracing culture war issues around race, sexual identity, and abortion rights. Some Republican leaders' rhetoric and actions on such issues have sometimes put them at odds with most Black voters who overwhelmingly support Democrats. Oh, this is a direct quote from the Washington Post. The last paragraph that I'm going to read out of the Washington Post says, Republican Party has more success diversifying its candidates offering, having upped its effort to encourage and recruit Black people, as well as Hispanics and Asian Americans to run for elective office at all levels of government. So that was their article on yesterday. And I said, but I want to dig deeper. And this is where I want us to start this conversation. So get ready to chat. And if you are driving your car, you can come to the chat later and put in your information. But I want us to get ready to chat because people are pushing back. And we're saying, what? Now, I know some Republicans right here in Central Ohio who are holding office and they're thebomb.com. Michelle Reynolds is one for me. Mike Nicholson says the unpaid Black supporters. Explain that, Mike. Explain that for me. So I'm not just taking that. Good morning, Dr. Annette Jackson. Yeah, she's become doctor. How about that? So I put together some questions because I'm wrestling with this myself. No, I'm not Republican. I'm really an independent. And that's really what I'm going to say. The decision of Black individuals to run for Republican offices or vote Republican candidates can be influenced by a variety of factors. I was thinking about this, y'all. And it's important to approach this topic with an open mind perspective. So that's what I want us to do. So, in doing that, I want to start with asking some questions, but I also want to play the video from yesterday about poll workers because I want us to understand the importance for us to be in the room the day of the vote. So, Isaiah, if you can cue that up and play that, and we'll come back and I'm going to ask questions and I want us to participate. Okay. All right. Thank you, Isaiah.
Ready to help America vote? Working the polls on Election Day is a great way to strengthen our democracy right in your own community. Poll workers set up polling places, check in voters, and answer questions, and show us how to use voting machines. It's important. Any voter can file an application to become a poll worker, and most poll workers get paid. Because right now, America needs more election workers to volunteer. Learn more at helpamericavote.gov.
Thank you for that. All right. So the first question is individual beliefs and values. How do the personal beliefs and values of Black candidates align with the Republican Party platform? And are there specific issues or principles that resonate with them? These are questions I create, and I'll put these questions in the chat later on as well, or I'll put them in the newsletter for this coming Friday, the Friday rundown. But let's chat about that. And if any of you are in a place, and we can get this link to you immediately, if there's any of you in a place who want to join, so Mike, if you want to join, you can come in here, let's have a conversation. We will shoot you over the link and you can come in and have this conversation with me. because I want us to dig deep. I think what we've done, we have separated people. It's like an us and them. And if y'all remember last year, I said it's about unity and finding ways to bring together this crazy divide. Latrice Jones says, I honestly think that if I were going to run for office, I might run as a Republican. The Democratic Party is very saturated. Thank you, Latrice Jones, because one of my notes, see y'all, we're connected. One of my notes that I have in here as I was putting this together is that could we be that voice? Sometimes we want to stay away, but could we be that voice to say, well, here's another perspective. Let's talk about it from here. I'm a part of this constituent. I'm a part of this community. Let me tell you what's really being said. Let me tell you what these authors are really sharing with those of us who are part of this community. And I hear you, Latrice. I hear you. Um, and I think we just go, "Ooh, you're Republican." Well, where did that stigma come from? And I realize we see the Ted Cruz, we see the Greg Abbotts, we see the Ron DeSantis, we see the former guy. We see these people, and we're just like, "Ugh." I never, there was never a time that I disliked the last George Bush. I was like, I may not like some of his policies, but okay. I've voted for Republican governors here in the state of Ohio. I have. Yeah, I know that's probably shocking to some of you, but it's like I aligned with some of what they were saying, not everything. Where the person on the other side is like, I can't flow with that. I have no love for this at all. But is that from a place of having an open mind? I'm loving this discussion here. Mike Nicholson says some of those Black supporters that they have pictures at an extreme right rallies are paid, literally employed through agencies. Yes, now that is true. We know the former guy did that quite often. That's why, and they would put him right behind him, and they were supposed to do certain things. If y'all remember, there was one rally where someone came and moved that person out because they were not doing what they were supposed to have been doing. So that part is true. But Mike Nicholson, then do we just think that everyone's doing that? Because let's talk about it. Are the Democrats doing it also? Hello, somebody. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm just asking a question. Latrice Jones says, okay, Lori Wallace says, overall, people need to stop just looking at the party or the person and look for those who share your personal values. Yes, 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 yes. I agree with that. And I want y'all to know up front that I get excluded from things now because of where I stand and things that I've said here on News in Motion. I've had like some meetings where they're like, well, we want you to support us. Well, I do support you individually, but can I just sit here and tell you that I'm not going to communicate? I said, News in Motion is about fair and balance. We're going to share everything. We're not going to automatically just cut somebody off because of their party affiliation. We want to hear from them. We want to know what they're saying. We want to know what they're adding to the community. And that's from either side. And then let's not forget Cornel West, who's running for president. He's serious. He put out an ad the other day asking for donations. He's not playing around here. We're going to try to get him on the show, by the way. We have an invitation out to him because I want to hear from him, and I want to hear about I want to hear from him what are his thoughts when it comes to he could be splitting the Democratic Party votes. I want to hear from him on that. Kim Edmondson is saying to Mike, yes, that's true. Latrice Jones said, remember when the DOMA Act passed? It was because Black Christians voted their values. And that's true. So let me keep going. Policy priorities. And I broke this down. Maybe I'll do a Medium article on this. What policy priorities do Black Republican candidates or voters have, and how do they believe the Republican Party can address these issues effectively? Or do you think they're automatically will be shut down because they're Black Republicans? Kim Edmondson says, I want someone who is supporting the community, not lining their pockets. I can drink to that. Yeah. Deborah Johnson says, we have to go beyond the party beyond the party politics. We must research the candidates and what they represent and vote on what is best for us. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, okay. So we're all on the same page. I'm loving this. Another thing I thought about community representation. And then I say here, to what extent do Black candidates running for Republican offices feel that their party represents the interests and concerns of their community? So it's like you just can't get in there and then forget about us. That's not going to happen. We're not even going to allow you to do that. And then the other question I have, can we trust, because of the narrative that's out there about the Republican Party, can Black people trust a Black person who's running as a Republican candidate? Can we trust that they're not going to get in there and get sucked in to the machine that's happening, the machine that's out there? And then do they see this as an opportunity to advocate for change from within the party? And is a person strong enough to go in there with their Blackness and with their love for community and their advocacy and stand their ground inside once they're in there? Patricia allows, good morning to you, my sister. Kim Edmondson says, that's a great question, Gail. Yeah, y'all can tell when we came back from these emotions, I have a purpose. Not that we never had a purpose in the beginning, we did, but I've been able to hone in on our purpose. Bringing in a Kim, a lot of that came from Acton University as well. Adrian says, no more Tim Scotts. There's that. Latrice Jones says, great questions, Gail E. Dudley. Well, y'all, thank you. I've been really processing this. Then I have an area of diversity within the Republican Party. How diverse is the Republican Party in terms of race and ethnicity? And how does this diversity influence the experiences of Black members? And I went looking, y'all know me, I went looking. Y'all, most Republicans make up a small share of African Americans, and I was able to find this from Washington Post as well, who hold elected office. During the last year's midterms, the National Republican Congressional Committee had 81 Black candidates running for office, triple the 27 hopefuls in the 2020 election cycle. But only about a third of the 2022 Black candidates made it past the primaries, and just 4, including 2 incumbents, won in the general election. They say here in Washington Post, by contrast, 58 Black Democrats are serving in the 118th Congress. Of the 3 Black members of the Senate, only 1, which is Tim Scott, is a Republican. So even that, how do we begin to change the narrative of the Republican Party, or can we? Can that narrative even be changed? And Kim Edmondson said, yes, I can tell. Listen, girl. And then I got to go back to some questions. So I gave y'all that. And then I want to talk about, I broke this down. I will have to put this in the article. I'm sure I will. Historical context, because I wanted to understand the history. So I have a question for y'all from the history. How does the historical relationship between Black Americans and political parties, especially the Republican Party's history of support for civil rights, influence of decisions of Black individuals to run for office or vote for Republicans today? What's the historical content behind that? Because here's what's going to happen. And I cannot even imagine. So I shout out to, again, Michelle Reynolds here in Central Ohio. She's in her office. She won twice now, I believe, as a Republican. But to be able to stand not only the white people who may push against a Black Republican, and your Black family, let's start with family and friends, who may be like, have you lost your mind? What are you doing? You can't do that. We're in the middle of so much. It's like we don't want people to do things, but they may be called to that particular assignment. And who are we to question their calling? Dr. Antoinette says, for me, it's the complete stance. Thank you for pulling up so I can look at it. If you are only going to talk about abortion, immigration, and guns, but completely ignore poverty, human trafficking, over policing, voting rights, and housings, I can't support you or your party. Love that. But now let me ask this question, Dr. Antoinette. Let me ask this question. Let's say that candidate is not that they're not ignoring poverty, human trafficking, over policing, or voting rights or housing. They're not ignoring that, and they keep bringing that to the floor. They keep wanting to talk about it, but the overall party is shutting them down. Can you still support that person? Can you still support that? Lori says you are evolving, as we all should always be doing. Look, y'all, I love this, and I think it has a lot to do with once you've identified who you are, where you're going, how you have evolved. And y'all, that break did a lot for me as well. Many of you may not know this, but I'm now taking a class. It's called Womanist Theology in seminary, Monday nights. 3 hour class. I'll be sitting there like, can I make it through? But the class is so phenomenal that I'm sitting there and thinking about as a Black womanist theologian. Yeah, I said it just like that. It's so empowering and refreshing. And it gives me my platform when it comes to the political side, the reporting side, the journalistic side, and so forth. So I'm in my space and I'm loving it. Latrice Jones said historically, Blacks were Republicans. Yep. Thank you for going back in history. I'm wondering what happened that caused the shift from one party to another. Maybe we should go back to go forward. There's that. Dr. Antoinette says the GOP hasn't been the party of Lincoln for quite some time. When Nixon decided to label ketchup a vegetable so they could defund school lunch programs, the tone changed. And then Kim Edmondson says it goes back to your comment. Are they strong enough to build their stance in the party? Yeah. And then Dr. Antoinette said, woman is, listen, y'all, and we won't talk about that here. I'm going to get the professor on the Politics and Prose podcast, and we're going to talk about the difference between womanists and feminists. It's going to be good. So that's where I'm at. My Blackness. I think it's the change of the hair. I just went natural and just kind of like went all buck wow. Y'all, we also have local versus national factors. Are there specific local or regional factors that may influence Black candidates or voters to choose the Republican Party? And how do national local party dynamics differ? What do they look for? Which means we have to get to the root of a lot of what's going on so that we can go forward and have a discussion. So at some point, we have to dismantle these narratives because, y'all, the culture has changed. It has. I think even people who have gone uh, uh, let's take Christian people, Christian believers who have gone to the progressive and liberal side, because we see Jesus in that walk. We see Jesus there. That some of us are saying, okay, I don't want to go all the way over here. I need to find some place over here. Well, where's the platform for us? Where's that platform? What organization is being built for that? And we can't even use no labels any longer because no labels. And that's nolabels.org, I believe. You can check them out for yourself. They're playing around. They're trying to decide if they want to be Democrat or Republican and keep those labels away. So is there an organization for those of us who say, I'm a misfit here. I don't fit in either one. And even if we like a Dr. Cornell West, we still have that mindset of, man, but am I breaking up? Because I don't want the former guy. So I'm gonna have to go over here. And we may be thinking, I don't even know if I want that anymore because of where we're going and the dynamics there. But some of us are even afraid to have those conversations because people will push back. And it's like, just because I'm making a statement does not mean that I disagree with XYZ. Is that this statement is something we do need to talk about. This narrative is something that we do need to work through. And these are the kind of conversations we should be able to have in roundtable discussions. Also have political strategy. How do Black Republican candidates strategize their campaigns and outreach efforts to appeal to a broader electorate, including traditionally Democrat leading Black voters? And I put that in there because it's like, I voted Republican many times. I have, based upon my research, understanding the person, going to the town halls, asking the questions, writing letters. Dr. Kim Edmondson, I didn't elevated you. I think both parties need new blood. Yes. Yes, I agree with that. I so agree with that. Lori Wallace says, at least go back to research why and compare it to the present day reasons of why most are not now. Then I have the socioeconomic factors. To what extent do socioeconomic factors such as economic interests or business ownership play a role in the decision of Black individuals to align with the Republican Party? Y'all, there's so much. Let's go back to Democrat New Jersey Senator um, Robert Menendez. Let's go back to that. When you look at it, it's like, well, you were exchanging money. Now, allegedly, you were exchanging. This was a part of it. So you're doing just what they're doing. So even there, the walls are crumbling because it's no longer, well, they do this and we do that. Well, now it looks like we may do this too. And then we also have, allegedly, we also have several senators and House of Representatives, both parties, who are making a killing off of the stock market. Remember, not long ago, was that last year? I shared about how many people had this information going into the stock market and they came out making all kinds of money. They knew when to dump stocks too, so that they wouldn't lose a lot. That's both parties. So we're talking about money, but we're not putting the money back into the communities. So where are those individual people and who can do it? Or should we go with independence? Hello, somebody. Should we go with that? Dr. Antoinette says, can you tell I'm not driving? Been womanist for a while. Is freeing, not going back to the box. Boom, there you have it. And yes, I can tell. And Dr. Annette says Menendez has pulled the race card too. Yes, he has. And we need to follow these things. So, and that takes me into the cultural and social issues. How do cultural and social issues such as religious beliefs or stances on social conservatism factor into the political choices of Black Republicans? Yeah, y'all. I've been working on this since the summer because I've been hearing a lot about this switching party and what to do. And maybe that's where we need to go. I even think back to the Montgomery Brawl. There was something about that that just made my spirit leap, not in the violent side, but just the standing up side and how people supported that from both sides of the aisle. I said, is this the determining factor? Again, I look at Deion Sanders and the work that he's doing and how he's flowing. He went from an HBCU to Colorado, and then and working with that ball team and noticing how many players were on different sides of the political aisle and how they're coming together in unity. This can work, people. It can work. I also have perceptions and misconceptions, party outreach, and being inclusive, electoral outcomes, challenges, and criticisms. Again, I'll put this in a document and put it out there. But I want to go to this inspirational message real quick, and then we're going to be out of here. Before I do that, Mike Nicholson says, shoot, my friends that are Democrat politicians are about their pockets. We argue all the time. Yeah, yeah. And we need to start calling people on it. We do. So I'm still in Mark chapter 9, y'all. I'm still in Mark chapter 9. Good morning, Elizabeth Towns. I'm still in Mark chapter 9. Listen here, Elizabeth. You want to go back and watch watch this replay. We're talking about Black Republicans today. I'm still in Mark chapter 9, and I'm at verse 38, where John shared with Jesus that he and others told a man to stop using his name to drive out demons. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've read these chapters and verses many times, but there's something about this season that I'm seeing it totally different. So Jesus told John, do not stop him. Like, what are you doing? What only certain people can do certain things? I'm going somewhere, y'all. Hold on. And then I asked a question here in my studies. Why are we blocking blessings of others? Do not be a blessing blocker. Um, John and the disciples were told this other man, don't drive out demons in Jesus' name. Why? You the only people who can do it? So even when I'm thinking about the political landscape and we're telling people don't run for office, why not? If they want to run, maybe they can bring something to the table that will make a difference in the community. Or we're telling people, if you run, know that you can't win. Why are we telling somebody that? Seriously. Maybe they can win. if we stand behind them and stop standing behind the same old people. I know here, even here in Central Ohio, and it happens everywhere, that there's these groups, these cliques, and you can only vote for this person. If not, you'll be excommunicated. We need to start saying, okay, excommunicate me. And form our own with a confidence that will really shake that foundation of what's happening. There are some great people here who run for office. One highly esteem, and that's House Representative Joyce Beatty. But still, I may come across someone like, I don't know if I agree with that policy, but that does not change my narrative of what I think about her. I think she's the bomb.com. And we have to stop being afraid of always, we don't want to say no, we don't want to push back. We're like, I just got to say yes. Why do you want to be the yes person? Maybe they need to hear, and maybe they will respect you because of the way you even share that story. We need to stop telling people, stop, like, don't say that to them. Why not? Why not? Why can't we say these things? It's time for us to rise up and stop being so intimidated and afraid to do what we've been called to do in this season. Y'all, the narrative is switching. People are becoming bold. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that people are no longer embarrassed about finding themselves on the sofa or in the chair or next to that therapist or in that webinar or Zoom with that therapist, because they're getting their stuff taken care of. They're becoming free from some things. They're living their lives. They're realizing that everyone doesn't need to like me. If you've been called to drive out demons and you see a demon, now make sure you know what you're doing, okay? Make sure you have some prayer backup in doing that. Drive them out in the name of Jesus. Hello, somebody. If you know it's time for you to step into your anointing, into your miracle, into your blessing, into your purpose, it's time for you to step out. Seriously, seriously. Inside thing, real quick. Just want to be transparent, and I've been knowing this for a while, and I haven't shared it. When I was praying back in the summertime when I was on break, I said, God, I said, where are you taking me? And I kept hearing the 700 Club. And I was like, no, I don't want anything to do with them. And God said, I'm not saying you're going there, but see how successful they have been speaking about me and my name and my word. He goes, you've been doing it at the end, but I want you to start talking about it and being about it throughout and taking a stand regardless of the pushback. And God said, I have you in the pushback. I have you. He said, what you're going to do when you come back on September 11th is going to be completely different. He goes, there's going to be some similarities, but your confidence will change. That boldness you've been talking about for over a year will change. Your life will change. Y'all, you're talking stepping out, not knowing if people are going to follow or receive. But what really resonated with me was God said, if it's just me and you're still videoing, it's just me and you. He goes, and it's okay because I will be depositing your name in rooms. And the calls that I've been getting over the past 2 weeks, only he's been depositing my name in rooms. That's my story. What's your story? Where do you need to take that leap of faith? Where do you need to take that next move and go for it? Not to put her on the spot, I don't know if she's still on here or not. But I was in class yesterday and we were on break and I was scrolling through my social media and I came across Davia's Instagram. And I got so excited because I was like, oh my God, her first thing is dropped. And a classmate of mine said, what are you talking about? I said, oh, you got to go. And so she went to her YouTube. I said, oh, it's going to be good. And I was like, oh, darn. And the girl said, what? And this girl's from Hungary. And I said, oh, it's just a tease. I said, but I was so excited. So then the professor said, what are you doing? So I just started talking about Davy in class. I was like, she's a womanist. I said, she has it going on. I said, and everyone needs to tune into her podcast. Y'all, I can just tell from her teaser, it's going to be on and popping. And I just wonder, and I don't know her story. I just wonder if she is coming out like that in this direction. And her Instagram posts alone are fire. Y'all, at some point you have to make up in your mind. what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Elizabeth said, woo, this is a whole word of confirmation, empowers thought. The word be a blessing verse. Hester says, yes, rise up, be bold. Kim Edmondson says, rise up. Y'all are popping up in here. Shirley Nicholson just has praise hands. Lori Wallace says, I did the same thing. She's teasing us. She's stop that. Dr. Annette says, I totally agree, excuse me. Hester Jackson says, this is our season. And I can shout with all of that, y'all. And we just have to go forth and do that. Do what God is calling us to do. And the time is now. The time is now. All right, y'all. Uh, uh, Live your life according to what God has given to you. Just live your life. Stay moving. Um, be bold. Be bold in all things. Live your life in boldness. And also live your life in abundance. All right, everybody. Until tomorrow. Tomorrow we will, I believe I have a special guest. I believe Stephanie Burbridge Hall will be joining me talking about suicide prevention. You don't want to miss that either. We're going to put together a team for her walk here in Central Ohio. But if you want to fly in or drive in and hang out with us for the day for that walk, we would invite you to do so. All right, y'all, until tomorrow, I'm out.
News in motion.